So I just got a message from somebody because I made a video about a few different things about the Bible, and I got a message from somebody talking about how I need to read the Old Testament because apparently I haven't read it about 1,000 times. I don't have every version of the Bible in my house already. I don't. I mean, I didn't just write a book on this, but I guess I need to learn more. And I mean, I'm not arguing with that. People, no matter how much you know, you should always learn more. However, when people tell me this, I find it funny because usually the people telling me that I need to learn more are people that don't do any research at all. They listen to other people online, take their word for it, don't double check their work, don't do anything. I've double checked everyone's work, and the reason I say things is because it's been verified. So if you want to talk about the Old Testament, fine, let's go ahead. Let's start talking about the Old Testament. Let's go right into Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, the Elohim created the heaven and the earth. Let's go into learning what the Elohim is, because the Elohim, which everyone's saying, oh, the Elohim is God. You have to call the Elohim God now. You have to call God the Elohim. That's what his real name is. Well, the Elohim is El for the ancient Phoenician Canaanite deity El, which is where we get words like elected and elevated and elite. This all comes from El, electricity. All of it comes from this ancient deity El. Ohim was a pluralization. So I personally own about 15 to 20 books, dictionaries, encyclopedias that all say that Elohim means multiple gods, many. It's a plural. It doesn't mean one God. So people want to tell me to learn about the Old Testament, but they don't even understand it themselves. Okay? There's a reason in Genesis 1:28 it says, "Come, let us make man in our image." Us. Who is the Elohim talking to? Could it be other gods? Because he's talking in plural form. Come, let us make man in our image. Genesis 3. Here, man has become like one of us. Who is us? Us is the Elohim. Us is the gods. Elohim does not mean God. So that's the very first thing. If you want to talk about the ancient scriptures and you want to talk about the Old Testament, you have to know what these words meant to people back then, not what they mean to us now. We have changed the meanings of these words. So in Genesis 1:2, talks about the earth being form and void, if you look up a King James Bible. Now that is not the correct translation in my opinion. The word they use, the early Hebrew or ancient Phoenician Canaanite language, which it is, it's not called Hebrew. That's like saying that Americans speak American. We speak English. It's an ancient Phoenician Canaanite language. In Genesis 1:2, it says the earth was formed and void, not in the earlier version. It uses a word. The word is tohu wa bohu. That's the Hebrew word that it uses. The word tohu wa bohu does not mean without form and void. The mean tohu wa bohu, the word means became a waste and desolation. That's what that word means. Became a waste and a desolation. That is a lot different than without form and void. Became a waste and desolation. Totally different. So again, if you want to talk about the Old Testament, please learn what you're reading. Because most people read this, they have no idea what they're reading. They just don't know. But that's because they just take it for what it is. They don't actually go and do the research on this stuff. Again, I'll remind the camera again. My wife's a librarian. I met her in a library 6 years ago. I've been doing this for 6 years, every day. So when people tell me, you should really listen to so-and-so Truth, he knows the answers. He also thinks that this book, that the Bible is a biography, and it isn't. It's not a biography. King Solomon was not a man. King Solomon, Solomon, son, son, son. Son in soul is son in Latin. Om is the ancient sun chant. Om, it's sun in Hindu, and On is the city of the sun, Heliopolis. It's a word. Sun, sun, sun. It's talking about the sun. Why the sun? Because he's the son of God. Why? Because it represents enlightenment. It all happens within you. Learn the truth. So when people tell me, oh, you need to read, oh, you need to learn. Listen, I've read the Bible many times. I understand that some people accept it as a history book, which it isn't. I used to believe it was a history book, so I've been there too, and now I just know it isn't, because there was no King Solomon. Okay, now when you understand what the words mean, you understand the words. Okay, in Genesis 9:1, Noah and his sons were told to replenish the earth, which makes sense because Noah and his sons were not the first men and women. But if that's the case, then how come in Genesis 1:28, Adam and Eve were told to multiply and replenish the earth? Why? If Adam and Eve are the first people, then why are we replenishing anything? Replenish means to do it again. The word re applies that it's been done already. So Adam and Eve were not the first people. When you learn the creation story for Egypt, the creation story for the Sumerians, the creation story for the Greeks, the creation stories for the Romans, they all had different creation stories, okay? Adam and Eve were not the first man and women. Read the book again and start to look at it. We're being deceived by people that either don't know because they don't do the research, or they just don't know. They believe in it because they don't know, all right? Please, I highly recommend people do the work and learn. If you want to learn, you're more than welcome to check out my website. If you don't like what I'm saying, you don't have to. Okay, this is my belief. This is my opinion based on things that I've read. This video is for entertainment. It's my opinion and my belief. There's no reason for it to be taken down. This is my religious belief. So I love you all, and if you are willing and want to learn more, that's what it's about. It's about humbling yourself to learn more. That's what this world is all about. Love, learning, sharing, that's what it's about. So if you're down with that, check me out, withthesun33.com.